Welcome to the Cross the Line podcast. My name is Carlos Smith, and today's episode is sponsored by KB's Car Care on 321 North Main Street in Jonesville, South Carolina. They offer hand car wash, vacuum, and clean interior. Coming soon, full detail will be available. While you wait on your vehicle, customer seating is available as well as the dining area. They're open Tuesday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., so make sure you stop by. Today's episode is also sponsored by Big Ben's Desserts. If you need to satisfy your sweet tooth, this is the place for you. They have a wide variety of desserts, including cakes, ice cream, banana pudding, and my personal favorite, which is the Oreo cheesecake. They're open Tuesday to Saturday from 12 p.m. to 8 p.m. and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. and are closed on Mondays. So stop by and visit Big Ben's Desserts on 297 Spartanburg Highway in Lima, South Carolina, where nothing could be sweeter. Today, this is another special episode of the Cross the Line podcast, the self-investment tour, as we have traveled on the road again. We're down in Florence, South Carolina. We have a very special guest with us today. He's the founder of Stay Fed Productions, Mr. Courtney Green. How you doing?
What's good, man? How you doing, man?
Good to see you again, man.
You too, man. Been a long time.
Yeah. So I want to give the people just a little backstory of how we actually met. This was last year around February or March, CIAA, and I was doing some freelance work for Source Magazine, and you and your people actually came over there. So it was a lot of artists that came, a lot of them from Charlotte and different places. But then I remember you were telling me y'all was from South Carolina. So just how I am, man. Anytime I travel anywhere and somebody tell me they from South Carolina, I automatically I embrace them. Like, that's where I'm from too. That's home.
And I appreciate that.
Most definitely, man. So I definitely want to make sure like we stayed in touch, and then I know I had sent you the footage.
Yeah. You definitely looked out, man. We had a showcase for our artists out there at the time, and ended up getting with the Source and doing a performance, and couldn't quite get the footage from the Source people because you know how that go. They want to release it when they want to release it.
Yeah.
And, keeping in contact with them is an email that they never respond to.
Yeah, it's
tough.
But
man, we met you, man. Los gave me his word that he was gonna give me the footage, and like everybody else who talking when you at a big event, they just shaking hands, moving, trying to get their face seen.
Yep.
But you definitely, kept true to your word, and it worked out for us. We appreciate that.
And that's one of the things I try to pride myself on doing, man. Especially being in, like you say, in the media, and when you at these big networking events, people say, "Yeah, man, we're gonna get up, we're gonna do this and that." And then once you part ways,
that's just what they word do, part ways.
Yep, that's it. Like that's all it is. So I was like, man, I definitely want to make sure y'all get y'all stuff. I think I still got some of that footage, man, but I'm glad I actually brought my own camera because if I left it up to them,
we'd have been out of luck.
Yeah,
definitely would have been out of luck.
But how did y'all actually end up? And we're gonna get more into your story as well. But how did y'all actually end up getting to the Source magazine? Like, how did y'all come up with that?
Oh man, it was a trip, man. We first of all we got plugged in the network with a promoter named Spodioti out there. And, we did some work with him in the clubs. They invited us down. First, we dropped the EP from one of my artists, Layla. Pretty good rapper. And, we got a show and we got an opportunity to do a showcase. And he came down that night and we met all those guys that worked with Spody and his entertainment group. And then he was like, hey, you guys going to come back up to CIAA. I can probably, do some things and work some more moves for y'all. He liked the music. He, buying into the brand, what we got going on. So we end up coming back to CIAA, I think it was like 2 weeks later.
Yeah.
And, man, we just got out there and, he plugged us in. He told us who the program director was, gave him his number. He picked up when we came to the place and told us where to meet him. So after meeting Spody when we got down there, then moving on to that. Because that was a freelance thing for us. Like, Source Magazine, we just came down here. We really wanted to get hooked up with the Breakfast Club. We heard Charlamagne was going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
So, just trying to work our move and try to get close to him, South Carolina State Bulldog, put that network
That's
together.
Love right there.
Try to get where the love at. And it didn't quite happen. He didn't come or something. So he was like, the next best thing, I got this, performance Source Magazine if you guys are interested. I'm like, yeah, we interested. That's big. Source, like, for sure.
Yeah, and I never even told anybody like how I actually ended up getting an opportunity with the Source. So for me, it's my first time talking about it on air. I was just sending out emails, man. Like I do a lot of work when I'm at home, and I just send out emails. I'm like, man, I just want to send some stuff out just to see if somebody gonna respond. So I was like, hey, this is like I'm independent. I do my own work, and it's like this is what I do. And I just like wonder, do y'all have any kind of like opportunity that y'all might have?
Yeah.
So it probably about a couple of weeks had passed, and then they hit me back, and they was like, well, we got something up here in New York. We trying to we got some people trying to audition for a show or something we was gonna have up there in New York.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, that's a big opportunity. Let me go ahead. And I was like, they was like, can you fly to New York or whatever? Well, I guess they thought I was already in New York. So I was like, shoot. When they told me about the audition, I was like, man, let me go ahead and change my work schedule so I can give me a fight, book me a fight,
right,
and get up there.
You got to make moves.
Yeah. So then, I guess they said something. I can't remember exactly what they said, but I told them it would have to be. I think they wanted me to come like that following Tuesday. I told them I would have to fly in. So then they hit me back and they was like, can you just do like just send an email us like an audition tape, and they just sent me like some guidelines for it.
Yeah.
So then I sent them that. Didn't hear back for maybe like another week or so, and then they was like, hey, we got something coming down for CI. We're gonna be down for CIAA weekend. Can you come do some like freelance work for us then?
Okay.
So I was like, shoot, that's an opportunity. You don't know who you're gonna bump into. So I ended up going down there. I think I came down there Friday and Saturday. I got there late Friday because I had to work, and then I went back Saturday after I got off work that morning. Mm-hmm. And they just had me taking the camera around. I got some footage of some different businesses that was in there. Then they had me interviewing people like what it mean to be at CIAA and as a music artist and just different people. So it was that was my chance to kind of ask people questions and stuff like that. So it was dope though, man. It was a dope experience.
It definitely was, man. I enjoyed myself out there. I felt like we got something. Networks. If you meet one person who's doing something, man, you never know where that's gonna lead you. So I appreciate, that was a great opportunity for us to get in there and, get my artists exposed. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't get to even go to big events like that coming from small places. And, you know what I'm saying? I used to go down there to party to have a good time, but now it's business. So I understand the gravity of it now, like seize the moment, the opportunity. You know what I mean? You never know what's going to happen.
You don't never know who you gonna bump shoulders with, man. And, like, they gave me a chance to, I think we filmed one of the artists, I think she signed to QC. I think her name was Leighton Green, light-skinned chick.
I think I heard of that.
SWV, they were there one night.
Okay.
Bobby Valentino was there. I wasn't there by the time he got there. 2 Chainz had some artists that he has signed, some young dudes.
I seen an interview he did with a couple of young dudes.
Yeah,
them.
Yeah,
they was talking about getting them on. Okay.
Yeah, so they came early, and they were just like, man, they were just like regular dudes.
Well, everybody regular, man, till the lights come on. That big stardom take off, and then it's just another opportunity to continue to make more money and move up. But definitely, just they start off the same way.
They start off the same exact way, man. But it was dope, just kind of see those artists, and like you said, everybody start off from somewhere. Just that grind.
Be a part of that right there, and you never know. You know what I mean, the next level, somebody gonna pull you up, and that's how I look at a lot of things, man. I want to be at least in the atmosphere when things are going on. If not for me, could be for somebody else. Just having that opportunity to know them or get to know them, you never know what's gonna happen for yourself.
Absolutely. So we're gonna get back more into the business, the music part as well. But let's kind of go back a little bit. How did you actually start Stay Fed Productions?
Man, I go a long story back, man, but not to go too deep into it, man. I was at my probably 3rd job in my career. I graduated high school from Creek Bridge High in Marion County in 2006. 2010, I graduated South Carolina State University, get into the workforce. So 2018, I got a civil engineer degree, working my way up the chain and ladder, just trying to, find that dream at the college of, being successful and things like that with your degree. So I end up going, getting to Decatur, Georgia at this point, working with DeKalb County Roads and Drainage. And, I'm showing myself approved, man. I'm getting all these pats on the back about, being a diligent worker and the things that I'm doing, in the business and of engineering. And so, black folks, and they working for me, they working with me and helping me, mature in my craft. And I end up, going up for a promotion after like 6 months of being there. My boss put me up for a promotion, and if they do that, they see something in you. And I did the interview. My contemporaries tell me, hey man, you knocking interviews out, you sound good, you know what you're doing, what you're talking about, so we'll see. So okay, cool. Normally you take a week or 2 to hear back after an interview, and a month passed by, I didn't hear anything. So me and my clock in my head, I'm always want to progress, want to move to the next level.
Right.
And I go and ask my my supervisor, what's going on with the position that hasn't been filled yet. And, he proceeds to tell me, like, he hasn't heard anything from, on high, basically his manager. So, in my mind, when things get stagnant like that, they kind of fizzle it out until you forget about it and hope you can move on. But I just ain't that person.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You got to tell me why.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Or give me my explanation, because if I came somewhere to do a job, I want to hear a bad job, a good job. You know, I want to know whether I need to, you know, critique myself, or is another place I need to go and apply my talents.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up talking to his boss in a meeting, and she just basically flat gave me that she felt as if I wasn't ready for the promotion. Mm-hmm. And I asked her, you know, of course, why, what happened, or what could I do better? And she said nothing.
It's crazy.
And that just kind of struck me like, you know, I'm on somebody else's time. And basically the work I put in won't be received until somebody's ready to receive it. And, you know, so I'm still Courtney at the end of the day, and I'm a work in progress. So, you know, I took a little time off from work and got my mind right off of that, you know. And already me and my man Banks, one of my partners with Stay Fed, probably basically executive for my business, you know, was already trying to start some things, and we just never knew what to call it or how to get started, or, you know, jumping out there and just doing it. Mm-hmm. And at this point, I just pretty much was done with the traditional line of work, and I was like, you know, I want to do something that's gonna give me back what I put into it. And I was stern about it this time, and we just had a conversation one day, and he was just like, you know, bro, it don't matter what we call it, it's gonna be, you know, what it is because of who we are. You know, we're staples in the community, stand-up guys. You know, if somebody gonna do us a favor, we're gonna make sure we match that favor. Right. You know what I'm saying? We're not one of those guys who want to get over. We want to bring something to the table. And then, you know, he proceeds to ask me about, you know, so whatever it is means without the name. And I'm just like, you know, it's gonna be just that. It's gonna be for some guys who are gonna steady grind and, you know, day-to-day struggle. As long as we stay fed, I think we'll make it happen. And he was like, that's it. I'm like, you know, what's it? You know, he pretty much my muse. If I talk to him, he'll pull it out of me. And he was like, stay fed, that's hard. And then I wrote it down, and that was it. Yeah. I wrote it down, and then, you know, an acronym came behind it, like stay true and you'll fulfill every dream. So I'm just like, you know, that was, you know, that was hard. Something that gave to me, like it happened, and I was like, I'm going to go with it.
Because I remember seeing y'all at CIAA, I had the bowl and the bowl, the spoon, man, and just saying stay fed. I was like, man, I like it's dope already.
And it's self-explanatory.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, to me it just feels like it means like loyalty and stay down with your team. And if one of us eat, we all gonna eat.
That's right. That's
that's what it means to me. And I was gonna ask you, like, what would you say was your definition of stay fed?
Again, the acronym stay true and you fulfill every dream. Mm-hmm. And that came to me because, you know, you got to be a diligent worker at something you believe in. That's a fact. Like, I mean, you can't, you know, be wishy-washy. Today you on it, tomorrow you not. It's got to be something that's in you and it means something to you.
You got to stay consistent.
Consistent. And so I think that's the biggest thing it means for me because, you know, that's been 2018 I started it. It's 21 now. Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at it like 4 years going on, just something I believe in, and it's giving back fruit. Like, I'm not just out here pushing towards something that's dead. Like, and when I put it to somebody, they take their own meaning from it as well. Mm-hmm. And you know what I mean? And there's life in it. It's like it's how it applies to everybody in any situation you're in. We gotta stay fed, whether it's for you, your kids, you know what I mean, your future, your plans, anything. I mean, you keep yourself nurtured towards what you wanna accomplish. You're gonna do that.
And that was kind of when you say 2018. That was kind of around the same time that I kind of got my I started back I started doing the broadcasting when I was 20, my senior year in college, 2014. But then, you know, after I graduated, you know, you want to do the same, do what you think is, you know, the normal thing is, you know, graduate, get your degree, go get a job, and then just trying to find something in my field. I couldn't get it, man, so I kept getting rejected, and I ended up getting rejected. I went to the radio station. It was crazy because I remember when we was talking yesterday, and you was telling me how you was driving almost an hour to work. And wasn't getting it, man. I had the same thing. I was gonna tell you that yesterday, man. I ended up getting a job at the radio station, and I posted this about a week or two ago, man. I drove almost an hour to work every single day for $10 an hour. So by the time I got that check, I broke even, or most of the time I was in the hole.
Negative, that's right.
Yeah, so
and like I told you, man, that was my life for my first job getting out of college as a bridge inspector. Mm-hmm. I was telling you, man, I for $20,000 a year, man, that's during the minimum wage, $10, $11 an hour, and you know, working a job to where I got to drive an hour, 72 miles on the dot. Like, you know, you start to notice things like that when you're doing it for 9 months, and then I'm staying off of a college campus on a favor. You know what I mean? But I'm still trying to hold true to that. You know what I mean? Give somebody something for letting me do that. And every week, you know, some days I couldn't even get a haircut. Like, I'm around here looking like Wooly.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I'm on the grind.
Yeah.
And, you know, I believed in that dream and that possibility that I could grow more and have more. And, you know what I'm saying? Just doing that, like you said. I had to learn how to take the debit card and, you know, use that credit on there when I know it's gonna be negative, just to make it to the next week.
Mm-hmm. And so many, it's a lesson in everything that you do, though, man. Like I tell people, man, I was driving, and then like I was breaking even, but the things that I would do was I would learn from everything. Like that's what you see, all the cameras and all the production. Mm-hmm. I took all of that. And that's how I learned, you know, this stuff like the production, where I learned it from the radio station. But even though I know I was going in the hole, so then I just, you know, eventually came a point in time where student loans kicked in, so I had to leave. Mm-hmm. I ended up leaving there and just started my own thing eventually. But it's like a lesson in everything that you do.
It is, man. You gotta, and I believe in the process, bro. I believe, like, man, you going through everything for a reason. Like, it don't matter what it is or where it's at. It's your part of the journey, and the journey is the best part of the story. You know what I mean? It's gonna teach. It's gonna give you values, morals, and principles. Whether you take them or not, they're gonna be there. Mm-hmm. You're gonna run into so many people that believe things you do and don't believe things you do. You know what I mean? And so it's gonna give you a well-rounded. You know, it's gonna give you impure knowledge, man. Like you wrote your book saying, "Forget college." You know, life's the best teacher, and I believe in pure knowledge because I'm getting it off the ground. I'm getting it from interacting and being social and moving towards the purpose. Not knowing everything, you're not gonna know that. You're not gonna make all the right mistakes or right choices, and you're gonna make mistakes. But living through them and persevering and getting to the end of that mistake and getting the resolution out of it.
That's why I said life is your best teacher, because no matter where you are, I don't care how many degrees you have, you always gonna learn something.
You're gonna learn
every single day, man. It's a lesson to be learned in everything that you do, but it's just how you react to those situations. Yeah. Some people rise above it. Some people just fold and they just give up, man. But you just got to keep on going. I want to ask you about well, first of all, when y'all started Stay Fed, was it just music or clothing, or did it all go? It started
from a clothing line. I started the clothing line that day at that desk. After I talked to my boy and I went to work, and I got a dude named that printed T-shirts, Jawan Washington, out of Dunwoody, Georgia. And Amanda, my assistant at the time, you know, Amanda Glover, she loved me to death, and you know, she wanted to see me win, so she gave me a number to a guy that did T-shirts, and he ended up being a great, you know, photographer, digital designer, all that. So he could have brought my vision to life. And you know, I told him what I was looking for, man. I sold my first T-shirt. Girl named Denasia Reed from back home. The first day I did it, and I was like, "This is it." You know what I mean? It's it. So I know what to go with. So I pushed the brand as a T-shirt of the clothing line. But always want to be in entertainment. You know, we love music. We love everything with the culture that we do. And I had the opportunity. I had a rapper, you know, who's dope, who still is dope. And I was like, man, you know, I need to give him an opportunity. Business is going good. You know what I mean? I'm ready for that next aspect of it. And entertainment ended up being it. So put him in the studio. We did a couple EPs. And, you know, this was all within, you know, I say 8 months. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Just trying to push it and keep going to see what they're going to accept from me. Okay, they took these T-shirts and jackets. I came out with a T-shirt first and then track jackets. And then, boom, my clothing line started. You know, just give them custom clothing. Like, I want you to wear what you like to wear. You know what I mean? I want to be comfortable. I want you to, we can build a rapport. You tell me what you like and I put you in it. You know what I mean? And so after that part happened, boom, the entertainment part and putting the rapper into perspective. And then it's just like after that, everything snowballed from rapping to short film. I got a couple short films on the YouTube. Oh. Stay Fed Productions on YouTube, doing numbers. And now it get to the point to where, you know, my rapper ran into some issues and I still want to keep that going. So I stepped in and put a little bit of music to the beats and put a few EPs out. I got some things going well. Mr. 2653 on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get music. Mm-hmm. And so, man, it's just bringing the whole vision into life, knowing that everybody's story is valuable. And at the end of the day, if you know, apply yourself to it, like, you know what I mean, and people buy into it, that's another form of income and resource.
Yep.
Got to look into it.
So when was that source? I remember it was you, your artist, Laylo, and Rock, and I think it was another young lady with y'all.
Tranisha Phillips, we call her Trey.
Okay.
Yeah, with Bella Trey Shoe Collection.
So when you was there, then you was kind of like the behind the scenes guy, like laid back, just making sure everything runs smooth. Then
exactly. Okay. Pretty much running the CEO position. You know what I mean, funding it and making sure everybody putting in their contributions and making sure that everything runs smoothly and get my artists here. And Rock did more so artist relations and management. Trey pretty much assists me with getting numbers and phone calls and emails and making sure I stayed on top of that stuff. And at that point it was real young and new to us, and so we always doing something new, but progressing in it.
Rock was pretty much he did some party promotions or something too, right?
And it opened him up to which he already had his Rock ELS, which is entertainment business, doing party promotions, and that's another thing. We all did that together. We rented out a hookah spot and kind of did real good with that, and had some success with that to get us in Augusta, Georgia, to do some party promoting.
I remember one of the first things that I seen him promote at the time. I didn't know who the artist was. It was something where Big 30 was coming. And then Big 30 got locked up or something. And I was like, who is Big 30? I was like, I don't even know who this is. But I seen Rock was promoting it then.
Yeah, it's going to get you wind of it. Yeah, that was one of his first opportunities. And he ended up getting that show redone. Okay. So he did open it up, and, they did get to do business with Big 30 in his camp. Yeah, and so he steady moving towards that. He got a lot more things going on. I think he's in a customized hat and hookah, like distributing little production now. So he's putting that stuff together.
That's dope, man. They keep y'all in a good space too, man.
In a good space. Everybody moving towards a goal. Along with Tranisha Phillips, Trey, she got Bella Trey Shoe Collection. Females gonna buy them shoes.
Oh yeah.
And I watched this girl turn a pair of sandals into a couple $1,000s, and I was just like, with her perseverance and her diligence, man, she knows how to do all this, media stuff. I ain't too young in the social media thing with marketing and doing it all that. I do what I feel like is gonna work. She pretty much studies the analytics of it all, with the algorithms and all that stuff.
I need her help.
So she really she really make it pop, man. Like 11,000, followers on her Facebook now, and Instagram, going up on her website, doing a couple $1,000 a week and a month. So, and that's hats off to me, because again, helping them. That's the first thing I told them, like, when we started, this ain't just about stay fit. I know you guys got aspirations and dreams as well. So, let me know what I can do to help y'all get that stuff. And so we got all that off the ground as well. And, if I can't be doing something right here now, I can get over there and help them with a hand, or vice versa.
Mm-hmm. And that's one thing about entrepreneurship. When I sit with a lot of entrepreneurs, they always tell me the things that you're doing is always bigger than you.
It's bigger,
yes, it's going to help you, but at the same time, you giving other people opportunity to do something that they want to do as well.
Right, exactly.
So it's like you always got to look at the big picture. It's like not just about you. You got to help serve people, and then when you help them get what they want, they're gonna return.
Oh man,
the love.
Loyalty is it, man. Them right folks, and man, real talk about Rock, man. I actually told him I needed his help. He had an opportunity to move to Charlotte when I moved to Aiken, South Carolina. He was gonna leave Augusta. His job was coming to an end. And I was like, bro, if you could stay, man, I could really use what I'm doing. So I'm pretty much indebted to him putting his life on hold to move to Charlotte to help me out. You know what I mean? And, anything he asked me.
That's love right there.
Man, that's the biggest part of love. I mean, anything he asked me to do, I'm going to do it. You know what I mean? Because I know the sacrifices you made, having, your plans and things that you've seen. But you invested in my vision.
Mm-hmm. Man, that's dope, man. Shout out to Rock, because that's super
hard.
Dope, man.
That's hard.
And he showed me love when we was at the CIAA. He showed me love then, and then he had hit me later on after that. He's like, man, I love what you're doing, promoting everybody's business and stuff. Like, we need a platform like to keep on going. So, yeah.
My boy solid, man.
Super solid, yeah.
My boy solid.
So, how did all y'all meet anyway? Did y'all go to school together? Y'all from the same area?
Me and Rock went to school. Rock went to college 2007. I met Rock. His freshman year, my sophomore year in college, man, catching, he fool with that football. Mm-hmm. So he come from Greenwood. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Greenwood got athletes too.
Yeah. So, he know a lot of NFL players and everything. They come from that stock.
Yeah. So, he probably went to school with my homeboy, Dwight Brandon. I actually did a live read for KB's car. He played football at State too.
Okay.
That's how I actually ended up. Well, I didn't go to State, but we went down there a couple of years for homecoming.
Yeah. I know you had a blast.
Man, deal with
the best times of my life.
Yeah, I ain't even know. I never knew a homecoming was like that. Cause My freshman year at Upstate was 2010, so we went my freshman year and my sophomore year. That's actually where I met my daughter's mom down there at State.
Okay.
But man, it was like
good old Bulldog.
Different vibe. It's crazy.
Hey, because
we don't at Upstate we don't have a football team. We just got a basketball team.
Yeah, I heard
basketball.
about that.
So like our homecoming is like around it'd be pretty much around the end of January or sometime in
pretty
February.
Cold, man.
Yeah, it's cold, so it ain't the same, man. But when you go to state homecoming, man,
it's a cookout.
It is for real.
It's a cookout, man, and that's one of the best times of my life since '06, man. I've been going back ever since. I think the last 2 years, Corona whatnot stopped me, but I always try to go get that atmosphere and love back because. Man, they put it in you, man. And, folks don't forget you. Like, if you went to school there or if you stayed there a semester, you know what I mean? Yeah. We ain't going to leave you out.
That's why I was like, sometimes, even though the title of my book is kind of controversial and stuff, and I say, if I did go back to school, I kind of wish I would have went to HBCU to just kind of get that experience, man.
It's your people, man. It's your people. Your people going to be for you. And I don't think I could have made it nowhere else but at HBCU, just from my background and just – how closed-minded I was as a person at that time. Like, I really didn't have, doctors and lawyers or engineers or knew what they were around me to pursue something like that. Right. I'm walking up in here to be an engineer because I like to draw, and this the closest thing y'all got to architecture. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I know, I hear they make a little bit of money, so I'm always down for that.
Oh, yeah, all the time. But yeah, it's just like, man, just being around your people, man. It's like, especially, I feel that now, man. I was like, dang, man. Like, if I go to Atlanta, and I'm like, man, I hate the traffic, but like when I'm in Atlanta, just the energy, cause like it's a lot of us, man. Being entrepreneurs and doing stuff different. It's like,
and that's the sauce, bro. That's what's gonna put it back in you, man. Like, your people and communicating, and then them being on something new and everybody doing something different. Like, as a people, we brilliant. We come off the need factor. Like, we need something. We ain't got the resources to get it. We'll figure it out a way.
We'll figure out a way.
You know what I mean? And that just comes from it. Like,
just black people just always been able to overcome that type of stuff.
That's it, man. It's always been a thing about overcoming the narrative and pushing towards your need and goal.
And I remember I said this before, we went to Jacksonville, Florida. When we did our first tour, self-investment tour last year, flew to Jacksonville like last year around October. And man, we just, on one of our off days, man, we went to get something to eat and we just looking around, riding around. And it's like, man, black people, we got everything we need, man. We had grocery stores, we had mechanics out there. It's like everything that we needed, man. We already had this stuff, man. So it's like, man, just supporting your people, man, and like just that culture, man.
It's got to continue, man. We got to continue to support each other. And I like this whole HBCU movement. Everybody's coming alive on it now, like even the athletes and everybody knowing how important it is to take our resources to our people. You know what I mean?
It's definitely being talked about more now, like athletes coming to HBCUs. Where Master P's son went to a HBCU.
That's right. You got Malik Monk talking about it. Yeah. You know what I mean? A couple top number one high school players.
That's big though.
Man, that's it. That's a capital.
Bring so much money to the schools.
Bring so much money, so much capital, man. It's gonna turn back over into the people because now we can get the real professors and not all these foreign people with these language broken barriers trying to teach you something, and you spend a semester trying to learn what they're saying. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where you don't have to coax people to come in and buy into your program or your kids. Or you know what I mean? At this point, it's about our kids.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And I'm damn sure trying to make sure mine get the best of the best.
Absolutely. I want you to talk a little bit about like where you from. You say you from Marion, right?
Yeah, I'm from Marion County, man. If you're from Marion County, you know me. I've been up through Mullins, Marion, Rains, Gresham, Brittneck. You know what I mean? Whatever it's called. But I'm originally from Marion, the city. My mother moved us down into the country part called Rains in about '96.
Okay.
You know, five siblings, man. On my mom's side, my dad had 10. So, you know, he working.
Yeah, for real. A lot.
Yeah, so he was working, man. But rural area, man. I come up like any guy, you know, in a urban country, impoverished town. You know what I mean? I can't say we stayed in the projects, but you know, it's right down the street. You know what I mean? All our friends was in there, whatnot. You know, my mama did decent, you know, but you know, as anything, you know, if you're gonna go get money, your kids ain't gonna have supervision. If you got supervision, your kids ain't gonna have no money.
Right.
So, you know, just living amongst each other and, you know, pretty much raising ourselves as kids do when, you know, you got older brothers to watch the next one and all that stuff. So, you know, things transpire and just, I think my eyes opened up a couple times where, one, my brother ended up getting locked up for, you know, things that you do, man, drugs, what it is, grand larceny, things like that, a lack of not having and trying to have something. So both my brothers get locked up, and I end up just knowing that, that part of life is real. And I don't know one seventh grader, I thought about this the other day, that spent any time in his seventh grade life, 12 or 13, thinking about every day about not going to jail. Like, that used to be my thing, like, I can't go to jail.
That's tough.
Yeah, and so
especially as a kid, that young,
as
man.
a kid,
yeah.
so that was always my thing in my head. Like, I don't care what it is, I can't go to jail. Like, I see what happened, and when they get out, you don't have an education, and you 3, 4, 5 years past you, now you're grown, and you just got to do things to survive. So I'm like, bro, that's just not the one. I can't go to jail.
And it's sad, and that's like reality for a lot of kids.
It's reality, bro. I'm the only boy in my family, and I'm talking about cousins and all. Probably on my mama's side. She got 4 sisters. We got about 14, 15 apiece with a high school diploma or a college degree.
Man.
Like, it's just stuff like it's stuff like that lets me know, like, I'm here for a reason, and, like, man, it's far and few what I got through.
Do you feel like that's kind of like pressure on you because you're the only one to, like, of course you want, it's hard to say, you want the best for everybody, but do you feel like sometimes it's pressure because you may feel like you have to take care of everybody or make sure everybody in a position where they're okay? Like, how do you feel like being in that position?
I'm the youngest one. I was like the baby boy, so I really feel like my vantage point helped me out a whole lot. I got to see what not to do, and make those corrections and know which route to take. You know what I mean? So I think the pressure never was like, I got to take care of everybody, because I really wanted to do that because I seen what we was going through. But by the time 4 years behind the oldest one and 3 behind the next, by the time I got up, they was pretty much moving in the move that it was going to do, and didn't look for that. My brothers were never like that, mother either. But, you want to bring something back to the table. And that was always my thing. Like, I don't just, I hate to hear about money being an issue. I always want to make sure people are comfortable. And if you know me, I'm truly a giver. Like, the things I got for myself are cool, but, if I can't make nobody else's life better, man, why am I'm moving towards, a goal or a purpose? So I would never say I had that pressure of, I say, making sure everybody else is straight, because, again, by the time I got there and got to my little bag, like, everybody was cool. And if, it was something I did, like, I bought all of them Michael Kors watches, or,
Dope.
you know what I mean, gave some money or things like that, but just something to show them that I valued them. I'm happy that, we're in a good space now.
Yeah. See, for me, I'm the middle child. So, they say sometimes the middle child the most difficult one. But, all of us, man, all my parents, they made sure we all went. I got an older brother and a younger sister. We all went to college and we got our degrees. So, but I was kind of like the first one that kind of was like went against the grain and kind of like tried to have my own.
Right.
Like I just didn't like nothing wrong with a 9 to 5, but it was just like, man, it was just being rejected all the time. And, and it almost like
forcing you to find your way.
Yeah. So
I feel, man, like I said, my stories is crazy. Like, so the rejection part, like, we all go through it, like, among siblings like that, because, okay, it's 2 girls, 2 boys, they'll clink off, and I'm pretty much I wouldn't say the middle, but the fourth, but the odd man out. What else I'm going to tell you? So we end up, what happened? So being the fourth one, okay, so I couldn't do nothing right in the beginning. I couldn't do nothing right. I couldn't tie my shoes right, as far as my family-wise. So my sister, my baby sister, we'll start there, just like a hooper. Like, we play basketball every day in the backyard, and she's cold, like, but I'm teaching her this stuff, but I can't make the basketball team. You know what I mean? So that's crazy.
Yeah.
And my other sister, my sister in front of me, my older sister, she's smarter than me. A honor roll. I probably get B honor roll at the end of the day, everything I did, but could never eclipse that. My brother in front of her, I couldn't be better than him. He could do anything, horrible. He could do that and be the best at being horrible. You know what I mean? Right. So, and then my oldest brother was just, he played her. Like, every girl at one point wrote him letters in the school, and we used to sit there and read them. You know what I mean? So I'm like, bro, where do I fit in at? But not knowing once I got from around that I had all that in me. Right. The good, bad, and, some of the ugly, but at the same time, I was able to adapt off of all that. You know what I mean? I wasn't a scrub on the court. You know what I mean? I wasn't the dumbest in the class, man. Quite handsome a little bit. So, I can get a girl, and, if it comes down to, having to do something to make sure I survive, I'm going to do that. So I just feel like, man, that gave me the perfect balance once I was able to see that. But I couldn't see it sitting down in it, because I'm like, man, everybody just better or worse than me all the time.
Talk a little bit about, like, the mindset of people, like, in Marion, in your area? Do you feel like it's kind of like the traditional, just get up, go to work for somebody else, or do they want to like create their own opportunities, or is it like people just want to stay home? Like, how do you view the mindset of people like where you from?
Hey man, it's tough on them because a lot of them don't even know what they're in. You know what I mean? Like when I was coming out of there, it was 20% unemployment, the highest in South Carolina. Back when I was leaving there to go to school. After that, not even knowing it while your mom is leaving and going 2 counties over to get a job to come back for work. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not knowing that the stresses of everybody around you on welfare. You know what I mean? Ain't nobody better than nobody, but everybody's still trying to be or trying to make it look as if we all in the same struggle. But nobody acknowledging that. You know what I'm saying? So the mindset coming from not knowing, I feel like, and then even with the school systems, you got academies and privileged kids over here that you never met, but urban kids and rural kids, some of y'all getting the education I got, which is like I talked to you about the quarter of shame. You know what I mean? That's pretty much a grievance against South Carolina Board of Education because we wasn't getting the same, resources that other schools was getting. And then asked to take the same standardized test. And wonder why the dropout rate was so high or the flunk rate was so high, the failure rate. So I still to this day, like I watch, my natives, man, and they still don't know. They really don't know. I don't know whether it's not a lack of information now because you got your phone and the internet. You can go look for it if you want to, but you don't have nobody to tell you like, this is what you're up against. If you do this, get caught smoking weed, have a baby early, steal a car, sell drugs, something like that, you ain't doing but putting another strike on top of you, making it harder for you to be successful in whatever it is that you do. So traditional, like they're very traditional. They, believe in, working a plant job, a 9 to 5, and Fridays go to the local bar or have a beer up under the tree with your guy, go home to the lady she cooked for the kids, and go to sleep, wake up, and say you providing.
Yep.
But you're not really providing, you just surviving.
Just surviving, yep. And a lot of times, like when you grow up in those environments, that's all you know.
That's all you know.
And when you see that, it's like, man, well, that's how life is. When I grow up, I'm gonna do the same thing.
Exactly.
So then you're just passing it down generation to generation. I remember my barber was telling me one time, he was like, it's a family like this out in a little rough area where we are, and he was going along the lines of saying, the grandmother stayed there, the mother stayed there, then the granddaughter stayed there, and so it's like, man, it's like, and I guess it's like they just think it's normal. It's like when you grow up in that kind of stuff, man, it's like
because nobody knows the way out.
Nobody knows, yeah.
Nobody knows the way out, and when you get somebody in, like the lack of what you don't have is probably gonna push you towards success or what you want. You didn't have your father there, you probably gonna be a better father.
Right.
You didn't have your mother there, you probably gonna respect women or things like that. I really feel like that. But when you bring somebody in that knows the way, buying into it is a whole nother thing because, everybody has their faults. You can watch somebody, push towards a goal and fail, and then they'll be like, oh, that don't work. But when he gets up, you don't see that part when he continues the journey. And you see him, come back successful. And you're like, how you did that? I mean, y'all gave up on the journey early.
Exactly.
Like, the fall is part of the journey,
and
man.
the thing is, you can't talk down on these people, like,
can't, bro.
And it's like when you see these people doing something different or doing well in school, they want to talk about the kids like you a nerd or you trying to be white and all that type of stuff. When you see these people trying to break that cycle, man, you got to get behind them and
you never know
them.
where they're coming from, man, and that's a reason to want to be something different.
Exactly.
You know what I mean, because what's the norm is not working. But again, like you said, having your contemporaries be your oppressors, man, it's the ugliest thing we got out here.
So did that motivate you? Like were you in the mindset of when you graduated that you wanted to get away from home and not go back, or did you want to like make it and then go back home and like get back to people? Like, what was your mindset?
I always wanted to come back and give folks something to help them out and get them out of the situation that I was once in. Or, I jumped out there on a gamble and just went and did something, not having a blueprint or a path or somebody in front of me tell me I'm doing the right thing. You know what I mean? I'm just moving on my faith and what I believe in, and hopefully it worked out.
Right.
So I want to give somebody something else. Me and my boy Banks talk about that all the time. Like, we can't give them money because that don't work.
Money ain't going to help.
That ain't going to help, man.
It's just like temporary.
It's temporary fix, man, for a permanent problem. So it's like, man, what can we do? And what we came up with was like a community center to have access to it when you're ready for it with computers, you know what I mean, books, whatever it is that, that people who look for information and need guidance, people to come in and give seminars from time to time. So that's my goal for my community, you know what I mean, to give them a community center and something that's going to help them when they're ready for that resource.
Yeah, I'm from a small town, man, and where I'm from, we don't have a whole lot there. I remember I was telling you yesterday, they actually closed my high school down. My high school was 7th through 12th grade.
Mine too. That's
we only had 500 kids in the whole school.
That's right. It sound like mine.
Yeah, we Jonesville, man. And we were 1A. And they combined us with Union. That's how it ended up becoming Union County. But it was just small. And once they combined us, man, they really kind of hurt our community because, Friday nights were bringing the money for football games or basketball games, all the sports. So then when that left, now you pass through there, there's not a lot going on. Like I said, one of my best friends, he's got the car wash out there, so I'm glad that's out there. So at least that's kind of bringing people out there.
Right.
And it's a couple of plants out there, but once the school left, man, and it kind of hurt our community. I was like, man, I just want some kind of way. I want to, like I said, I don't have all the money in the world to just give people, but man, anything like just a platform like this, man, to help people. Because I have people now reach out to me telling me that I inspire them with what I'm doing. And I'm like, I'm just from a small town, man, and I'm doing it. If I can do it, anybody can do it.
And that's how you feel about this stuff, man. And it's a thing, like, you feel so passionate about your people, you want to give them everything you got. I'm in the for-profit business, but I can't tell you how much stuff I give away. Right. Like, just because I want everybody to have something, I know what it feels like not to have. Yeah. You know what I mean? I really believe in, like, touching that one person who's gonna move on and do that thing or that deed that can bring something back.
Somebody gonna make a difference.
Somebody gonna make a huge difference.
Yeah. I mean, what you're doing already is making a difference.
Yeah, but I want that impact.
But you're gonna spark somebody else. Like, man, I seen him do it.
Exactly.
Now I know I can do it.
Even through my DM, bro, people like young boys ask me all the time, man. And you come with me, ask me all the time, like, bro, what made you different? Did you think leaving South Carolina, last dude asked me, did you think leaving South Carolina, made a difference for you to be successful? And I just had to tell him it was the mindset. I'm like, I don't care if they put me in Alaska. I'd have came out with the biggest igloo and polar bear suit you ever seen, because that's my mentality.
Yeah,
you know
we have a lot of people like that where I'm from, man, like, because we're in Union County. And that's one of the things that kind of bothers me at times. Like, I'll see people post like, man, in order for you to make it, like, you got to get out of here. So it's like, I wish they stopped doing that, because you're going to have other people, like younger kids or whoever, looking up to you, seeing it like, man, dang, I ain't got no chance here if I stay here. So.
Right, and I ain't going to say get out of here is a bad thing, because, man, if
some
you ain't
people
got,
need to.
Yeah, if you ain't got no jobs in your county like mine, like, you got to go.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a trap for for failure. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you go get it and come back to build resources and give people an opportunity, then that's the part. Leaving is necessary sometimes. We all ain't in a big capitalist community. You know what I mean? Skyscrapers and big buildings for you to just, make $15 an hour washing windows. That's just city talk. But if you take these people and you tell them, don't forget where you come from when you do go out and make it, that makes the difference. And that's kind of like the narrative I kind of push, like, yeah, when I left, college definitely gave me that dynamic of different things I could do, because it was my first time outside my county really, and moving around and, going to Charlotte, going to CIAA, or going to FAMU down in Florida, bus trips to Baltimore for different events, you know what I'm saying, just to see other people doing different things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to see that.
That exposure make a difference, man. Like, we're probably like a little bit over an hour away from Charlotte, and I remember when I was in college at Upstate, man, just going to cover the Hornets and the Panthers, man, I just remember just like, once I got up there, I'm just looking around like, man, being here, it's just like totally different it's like a totally different world from where I'm at.
That's right.
From home, man, it's just like a different mindset. So it's good to, kind of get that exposure, but it's okay. Like, you can make it from home, like you said, it's just your mindset. And some people, man, they just don't, some people don't have that drive where they'll talk about it, but then they don't put nothing into action.
Yeah. The hardest part is starting.
Yep.
The hardest part is getting all this stuff started, man. And once you do, you know which way to go to feel good. I mean, you ain't got to worry about what to do. It's going to feel good right here. And you don't know, this is what I need to be doing.
And it's going to bring other people to you, man. It's going to help pour into you and help you, support you, and get you where you need to go.
Yeah, you can only do so much by yourself, man. I learned that. That's when the team came into, and I just was on another level at that point.
Yeah.
It's like just from production-wise or resources, getting things done, or, being smart with the funds and making sure the right result comes out of what we're doing. people bring in the other aspect of perfection. The right people.
Exactly. What would you say for you, just being a businessman and being in an entrepreneurship space? Like, what would you say is the hardest part for you of being an entrepreneur?
Man, the hardest part, again, picking those right resources, and making sure you get, that bottom line that you're looking for. The bottom line never gonna be as big as, you want it to be all the time, but, staying on that budget. Cause I get beyond myself, like with the budget. Like sometimes if I believe in the dream so much or the vision, like it ain't no number. Like I'm gonna keep spending until it happens. I'm that type of person because I buy into it. I mean? And when I buy into it, there's no limit. But I have to be realistic sometimes. Like you've been working toward this thing. If I try to sell a T-shirt for 3 years and ain't sell, I might need to try to sell something else. You know what I'm saying? That's just like reality of it. But I get so passionate about what I'm doing. Like sometimes I got to get myself to pull back. Like, okay, it ain't working for us. I know it's good. The team know the product's good. They're not ready for it yet. So I kind of not just give up on them. It's like they're not ready for it yet.
Right.
So I'm gonna sit it right here on this Instagram. 3 years later, they're gonna come back and be like, bro, what was this? And I'm gonna bring it back up. That's the best part about this media era. Like, the internet's forever.
Yep.
Don't trip on you not getting the reward now. If it's good product, it is, whatever it is.
Be in it for the long game, man. A lot of people don't have that patience. Like they want that. You want the instant gratification.
That's the instant, yeah.
But you got to be in it, man. You got to go through the process, man. Everybody, I think that's one of the most. Social media is a beautiful thing, but it's a gift and a curse because 9 times out of 10 now people only just post their highlights. It's like a highlight reel.
It's a highlight reel.
Yeah, everybody want to show that they living it up and all that stuff, but they don't show like the process of like what it go through, their phase, their struggles. I got something I'm gonna post soon, man. With just showing people, man. Like I go through the same stuff everybody else go through.
Everybody does, man.
Yeah, man.
Nobody exempt from like the process.
Yeah.
Nobody's exempt for the process.
I tell people all the time, man. I have hundreds of emails where I reach out to people, or I might not even get a response, or people tell me it's not the right time. Like just all type of stuff, man. But it's like what you see on camera. That's not everything, man. It's just so much more to it. Like I go through the same thing that everybody else go through, and you just got to get used to like get used to rejection as part of the entrepreneurship.
You got to. Everything, man. Like and that's another thing. Like my boy Rock, I hear him in my head all the time. Like you just got to know how to talk to me. If you saying something I don't want to hear, I'm gone. Only because like that saves us so much time. Like if you don't believe in the vision right now, that's fine. I'm gonna go over here to somebody who does. You know what I mean? And if not, 9 times I'm gonna do it myself. Find the funding and do it myself. So.
That's how I'm just doing myself. Like I'm so driven, man. Like man, I'm bringing my people with me, but I'm still at the same time. I'm gonna keep it. You gotta keep it moving, man.
That's it. You got to. Man. Nothing against nobody. It's just my purpose. Like, and it keeps,
And you can't expect them to see what you see.
You can't expect it. All you can do is for them to give you that gratitude later on. Like, dang, bro, you said you was. I know. And that's it.
Yep. And keep on going. For you, what would you say, like, do you prefer, like, being in front of the camera, like, on the mic, or do you kind of, like, prefer, like, being behind the scenes and, just running the day-to-day operations?
Man, I could just think of, like, I can do all of it, to be honest with you, and that's kind of what makes me unique. My preference, though, like, when it comes down to working, like, if it's making a song or working with an artist or picking a beat or building a beat with my engineers or something like that, I'm all with that. It's just the people part. Like, I won't say I'm not a people person because, I'm charismatic. I can talk to anybody. Right. I can laugh and joke with the best of them. But it's just like I rather deal with the honesty. Like, the product is going to be honest with you. Whatever I put into it is going to give me back. Versus dealing with the people, they can or cannot be, but, it'll give you whatever face you're looking for that day. So I would rather be, doing the work behind the scenes. I'll say that. I could.
What kind of things, like, talking about the music, like, what are some things that you've encountered, like, in the music business? Some things you might like, some things you don't like. What are some things that you've already seen early on, just, like, being in that music space?
Oh, man, when you... Hey, man, your money is temporary. You know what I mean? It's only good as how much you bring it to the table. You know what I mean? I say that because I lost out on a couple of deals only because natural disasters and stuff happen. Like when COVID kicked off, me and my team were expected to go to CIAA and have a performance. Not CIAA, South by Southwest.
South by Southwest, okay.
Yeah, out in Texas. We buying plane tickets and done paid, money to go out there, and that happened, and then we hit people back, and we get no response on, our refunds and stuff. And that just kind of lets me know, like, that's part of the business as well. Like, even down to going to Atlanta, man, we spent so much money in my opening video, man, that was going to be dope, and models, and, I just got a Q8 truck and pull it up and got it docked into the video, sight wall, all that stuff, man. And the video never got produced.
Dang.
And I'm hitting up the dude like, yo, what's going on? And eventually he starts responding. What can you do? You can click out and lose everything behind just a bad deal, or you can not do business with them again and keep doing business and show them the opportunity they missed out on next time.
The music business always, man, you always hear like shady stuff.
That's the toughest part for me. Like, man. I just can't deal with the people sometimes, because I'm like, man, like, and you try to take all these measures and precautions to prevent these things from happening, but nobody can never predict what's going to happen. Yeah. You're either going to deal with honest people or you're not. Yeah. And the kind of guy I am, I'm full of hospitality, and I like to give good experiences. So I'm not one of those people that, hit it in going tomorrow, because I know my face value is going to be it.
And I don't like the politics stuff they get into, the business stuff, man. It gets real messy. And,
the politics, and that's the other part. And we got to learn politics like at a young age, to know like if somebody is friends with this person and don't like that person, you 9 times out of 10 not gonna have relationships with that person. Just because that buffer. You know what I mean? But then who's gonna let you in? Who's gonna bring you into the room and say, hey, this is my guy. I believe in what he's doing. Hey, let's support him.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I saw I was watching something the other day. It was on. I didn't see when it was. I saw the Wale's Instagram live. I was watching. It popped up on YouTube, and I was just watching it. And it was just him talking about he was riding somewhere, and he's like, man, y'all tell me artists y'all want me to work with and stuff like that. So the people start naming artists, and it was just like, I tried to reach out to this person, no response, or some of them might have got too big, or whatever. So it's like they ain't rocking with. I remember he said something about I hit up the baby, and his manager said that he got too many features right now. It's just like, dang, man. To me, Wale dope. Like, I think he's one of probably the most underrated artists right now. But it's like,
he cool.
Yeah, but it's like, man, people like the politics stuff, man, to say like too many features and all this and that stuff, man, get in the way. Like, and a lot of times it's the people in between, not the actual artists.
Exactly, because like Lil Baby said with Kanye, I never got the call. Like, I didn't know you wanted to work with me till you tweeted that. Like, it never got through to him.
See that, and that's a problem, man. That's the disconnect. And then there's a lot of times like how a diss record might come out, some kind of beef and stuff come out because they think it's coming from the actual artist, but really it's the people like
management around that. Like, and I have I have pretty much a full-blown record label, distributing and putting out and making music, everything. So, and I have been at the table where, I'm making decisions to, okay, what single we going with? The artists like this one, but this is more radio friendly, you know what I mean? And then you get the radio and they sit you up in there and they like the record but never play it. So I'm just like, yo, like,
it's crazy.
You know what I mean? So like you said, the politics of it all, man. It's just,
I hate stuff like that, man. That's why I'm like, man, when I go out and I network, man, like that event I told you, man, like I pride myself on not being one of those people like, yeah, man, I'm going to get you your work. I'm going to shoot you your stuff. Or, yeah, we're going to get up and all that. Even though it took us over a year to, like, link up, I was like, man, I'm going to make sure.
Oh, yeah, but, like, that constant communication. You know what I mean? And then I see bro out there working, like, bro, you real deal financing a full tour by yourself. And pulling up, I'm looking at the production like, bro, real deal doing it himself, man. Hats off to you. And when I see that, I can understand. Yeah. Because I'm doing the same thing.
Yeah, that was like, man, don't never take it personal. Like, man, I ain't making time. It's like, man, then you doing all this, plus you got kids.
Man, you got a whole life.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of ripping and running, man. But like, man, I'm definitely gonna make sure, like, I figure this thing out, man. We definitely gonna get time to, chop it up and have a conversation. Man. Yeah. Few more questions, and then we're gonna get ready to wrap it up. Like, who would you say influences you musically? In my mind, I'll tell you who I think. I want to say Gucci is one of your
influences me.
Yeah, because I say that because when I was listening to your record, the Have It on the Flex
Have
guy,
It On,
and
yeah.
then I saw the cover art. Like with the halo above your head, I saw that. You remember Gucci had something like that similar on Trap God.
Trap God,
over the Pyrex. So I was like, man, Gucci might be one of your influences. Plus, you know, Gucci like to dress up too.
I really have to say, man, you hit it right on the head. Like after maybe 2006, 'cause I was a diehard T.I. fan. Like still is. I love Tip to death. Just like savage wordplay, man, charisma. I mean, how he coming off of it, like, but like Gucci caught me in that phase. T.I. went to jail, and I'm in college 06, and I'm depressed. Like, bro, who gonna feed me? Like, who's gonna motivate me to get up and go get this every morning? And like, I think when I heard like Gucci came out with, what was the first song I heard? I can't remember the first one, but the first one I gravitated towards was like My Chain. I'm like, that's kind of catchy. That's cool. Like, you know what I mean? So when I heard that, and I got Hard to Kill, and I started looking into the background of it. And he was authentic, and I pride myself on being authentic. Yeah. And from there, it just took off. I was die hard after that. Like, and then he a businessman. At the end of the day, like now we get to see more of the businessman in him. And I think I was more so moving in that direction early on because I done seen and did all that other stuff that, you know, that was gonna lead you to nowhere. Yeah. And I was trying to get to the business.
Man, Gucci, when you talk about business, man, I was just thinking about how he found some of these artists.
Got an ear for this thing, man.
He found Nicki and Migos and who else was
Thug, Kiwi. Like he found all these artists because Migos, all of them. Like he got an ear for this thing, man. Even down to
Pooh
Shiesty and everybody. And like he sees what it is and how to market it. You know what I mean? Of course, you know, it's a lot of negative to that stuff, but if it can bring you some money in, you know, you can't really get caught up in the politics or how somebody live their life. You can give them opportunity to make themselves some money or change their lives. You know what I mean? And you know, if they follow true to this and they live in how you used to live out of Gucci, like it could be done. You know what I mean? And so when you put that in front of somebody, it's like all the, like everything I do, like down to, you know, the presentation I put on out here, man. It's just to show the same folks who come from back home that we don't coming from nothing like I was on these same dirt roads with y'all. If y'all ready to put in some work and do something positive and let's make some money, then we can do that.
Yep.
But if not, it's gonna be the same cycle.
Yep.
You know,
it's dope to see somebody who see that transformation. You know, he came a long way, and then to still have an ear to the streets, to still know what's going on.
What's going on, man? It been highly respected like that in my neighborhood. That's just one of the things that I just always wanted to be a man of my word and be highly respected. Like. And I feel like on the low, like I be like, you know, some of the songs I'm like, I'm Gucci and this my zone 6. Like when I pull up at home, it's the love, and they know I got the way. And like the youngest coming to me, and I'm not just talking, bro. I take you to the studio that night if you know what I mean. I feel like you own what I'm on. It's just like I'm ready to give somebody the opportunity all the time. And you know, it don't have to pan out then or there, but they know I'm one of the plugs that's gonna really take you to it. Like I'm not one of them like. No finesses or yes man you to death. If I got something to do, you won't see me. But if I'm here, I got time. Right. Who got what's going on? Like who it? I mean, I'm looking for that like all the time because I'm really ready to see my predecessor like the next one. Right. You know what I mean? Somebody that's gonna take what I'm doing and take it to the next level. You know, and I'm ready to see them be about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because you know, as we get older, other responsibilities come up and. Everyday life change.
Yep, all the time. How do you feel like your support at home? How is your support at home compared to like when you go out of state and you traveling, pushing your brand? Like how is the support between the two?
Them folks love me. Like home, they love me, man. I try not to get too like the apartment complex I came up out in Northside, you know, doing my thing in. Like they love me to death. The old ladies see me, you know what I mean. They tip their head, tell me they happy to see me. You know what I mean? Someone be cooking, give me food, you know what I mean? All that stuff. Like the family, like embrace everything I'm doing. If I say we're going to do a show in, you know, Augusta, they pulling up. You know what I mean? They support, they loyal to me. And I appreciate that because they ain't got to be. They buy my clothes when they get their money. You know what I mean? They ask me when I'm coming back with something. You know what I mean? Even down to my man G in the project. He's 63 years old, and he want to have that stay fed on. Like,
that's dope, man.
He know what's going on. And it's like even down to the younger ones, like, they want to have it on. They tell their mamas, like, this what I want for Christmas. And You know what I mean? I want that jacket. It means a lot, man, that they support me the way they do. Versus going out of town, they really want to know who I am. And you know what I mean, how I present myself. And that's the other part. Like I said, that's when I want to be behind the scenes. You know, I get with Trey and she like, Courtney, you know, you got to be social.
Yeah.
you got to politic with these folks. You want them to support what you're doing. Mm-hmm. But I come up, I got a little buzz in Atlanta, a few DJs and stuff. And you know, I mess with the East Africans a whole lot, man. They got a lot of business going on out there. And that's the guys that took me in when I was moving around trying to get my face seen out there. So a couple clubs I pull up, you know what I mean, they putting us in sections and putting my music on and support. Man. Yeah, that's love. And you know what I mean? I got Instagrams where, you know, I'm in there partying for my man's birthday and they turn it on. Like, they know what time it is. So that's just, you know, that's just showing me, like, you know, I got my network in different places and, you know, what I'm doing is real, and they mess with it.
And, you know, that got to be tough sometimes because, man, you know, you go somewhere, you with your crew, you don't really want to go outside your way and speak. Sometimes you like, nod your head or something.
Yeah, and that is a tough part because, I mean, and that's, I wouldn't even say that's ego. That's just still trying to be comfortable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you never know nobody else's agenda, man.
Yeah, you don't know what they on. Yeah.
And I've been riding by myself for a long time, and then when I do get my crew with me and we out somewhere, you know, folks like how stuff look, you know what I mean? You get on them lights and, you know, females looking at you, people shouting you out. And
start hating.
Yeah, that's what it started. Yeah. You start to see that green face, that ugly. Mm-hmm. So, and you know, it comes a time where everything has to happen for a reason, but I always try to minimize. And, you know, I'm not going to make myself uncomfortable making you comfortable. We in this atmosphere. Of course, this is a masculine sport. Like, you know, the fit going to survive. You know what I mean? And then, you know, if you want to do business or something, it's a way to do that. You know what I mean? It's the way to come around and get that done. But, you know, things got to line up and happen the right way.
Just a few more questions and we'll get ready to wrap it up. So I want to ask you, while we still on music, like, how do you feel overall about the music scene of South Carolina? And the reason, I'm going to tell you why I asked you that, because when I did the interview, for one, when we was at CIAA, I looked at the artists that was from Charlotte, and, like, they was really showing love to each other. Like, I remember it was De Niro 4R was up there. He was dope. De Niro, JX Hines, and, like, he was showing love to De Niro, saying he was one of the guys that, you know, kind of showed him the ropes. It was it's another guy, Royal City Leaf, and there's a young lady, I think her name was Sianka. But I just remember those artists from Charlotte, and they were just, like, showing each other love and, like, embracing each other. And then when I went to Atlanta to interview Shannon McCullum, you know, this Lil Yachty's dad, he was in the studio with a lot of these artists, like Outkast and Goody Mob, and he said he knew Future before Future was, like, even rapping. Yeah. Like, but he was just saying, like, man, back then, like, these artists were, like, they would link up, like, click up and just, like, yo, you want to work? You want to get in the studio and do something? Like, he said these artists would, like, actually, like, work together and, like, build something. So I was like, man, it seemed like maybe our artists need to kind of, like, adapt and do this kind of, like, the same thing. So how do you feel about the music scene of South Carolina?
I feel like everybody trying to make it. Nobody really got a face for South Carolina yet. You know what I mean? Everybody want to be that face, I feel like. Yeah. Like, you know, Baby blew up and made Charlotte his face. Yeah. You know, Atlanta got a couple faces. You know, Florida, Kodak, that's his face. Ross, that's their face. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
it is a good point, though.
Yeah,
like,
so nobody got that face yet, so I can understand why you want to establish yourself and work until you get to that space and not really want to let folks in, you know, to what you got going on. Me personally, like, the music scene, again, I don't feel like nobody's made that way yet for anybody. Even with myself, like, I got a lot of stuff going on and opportunities and things I could be doing, but I got a schedule. And I understand when somebody tell me they got a schedule. Oh, they got, Shine, man, their son got a football game 8 o'clock in the morning. They got to drive 2 hours. You know what I mean? So I understand it. And then you got a rest between it. Then you got a studio session booked already. You wake up to 50 missed calls and, bro, man, I hit you. Bro, I know you hit me, but my schedule ain't permit me right then. Like, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like, we all could do a better job of helping each other. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's part of the sacrifice. You know, that's what we in it for. If you want to see everybody win and you want to see South Carolina win, you know what I mean? I'm big on that. Like, it ain't got to be me. Yeah. I could be amongst one of the ones that help the one that wins. You know what I mean? I ain't tripping on that.
Because I remember my guy, not to cut you off, my guy Juwan, when we went and shot an interview in Atlanta, he was like, man, he kind of really like, we kind of like that bridge in between North Carolina and Georgia. Because, like, we right here in the middle of all of that, man. So he was like, man, he's like, artists just need to kind of, like, work together more. He's like, don't be mad because you don't want nobody else to get more shine to you. Like, you got to look at it from a standpoint of, like, if one person make it, like we on, like we gonna break
if
through.
Your boy make it, we gonna break through. And that's, I've been in studio sessions with engineers or whatnot, and you can't invite your engineer here because he feel as if he didn't want you to take the sauce or something that may give them that extra boost to get above you. So it is a lot like that with rappers. Like, if you can rap, you can rap. If you can come up with concepts, you can come up with concepts. If you can pick beats, you can pick beats. But if everybody bring that together as a collective, it'll be massive.
Yeah.
But again, we preach it to the choir. I believe, just like you saying, how we work together. But I also can understand, like myself, I ain't just a rapper. You know what I mean? I'm a CEO, businessman, father, brother.
It's a lot.
You know what I mean? It's a lot to invest your time into this person, and then they just gonna forget when they get where they're going.
Yeah. I feel like it make a difference too. Like, I know they said a lot of times now artists like get in the studio, like, I guess with technology now they can like just like send tracks to each other.
Right.
But like to me, I feel like it makes a difference. Like when you actually in the studio building with this person and you building a bond with this person,
That's
like you get to know them.
And that's what a lot of people don't invest in because of the money. The money.
Yeah.
You don't invest in relationships because you just want the check now. Like, and it gets you to the point to where you tried, of course, we failed, and you really can't work with this person because whatever happened. So now the next situation, just give me the check. Like, just send it and I'll do the verse, and if you don't send it, I won't do the verse.
Yeah, see, that's why I said with doing these interviews, man, like, for me personally, I can do them over Zoom or Skype or however, but it's not the same. It's like when you sitting around and chopping it up with somebody, like, you actually build something with these people. You feel the energy. Like, the energy is just different.
That's
like,
it, man. You feel them out. You know what kind of person you sitting across from, and vice versa. Like,
exactly.
You want them to feel that, like you said, that energy, to let them know you just as authentic and you believe in the process as just as they do.
Mm-hmm. We've done over 100 interviews. The only one we did over Zoom was just about last month. That was Mr. Foster, the co-founder of Reebok. That was the only one. Like, he was over he was out in France. He's an older gentleman, like 85, 86 years old.
Co-founder of Reebok out in France, bro. How you plug that?
Just reached out to it. And that's crazy. So what happened is this guy that I follow on Instagram, and I don't even like making this about me. This is sharing your story.
Man, you tell us some real gems.
Yeah, this is just gems. So like I tell people, man, like, so it's this guy that I follow on Instagram, and he did an interview with Mr. Foster. And I was just like, well, he ain't no better than me. Like, he did it. Let me see if I can do it. So he tagged him in it. So I went, clicked on his profile. It had a little link where you know how they have like the email where you can reach out. Shoot, I sent him an email, and probably a few days later, his wife, she do all the emailing and stuff for him. I said, we'd love to speak to you. This was back in May or April or May, and he's like, it'll be around August, end of August before they can do it. So I was like, okay, cool. I really didn't know what to expect, so I'm like, as time got closer, I reached out to him and said, hey, is this still gonna be available? She was like, yeah. And then, like, she said they had to push it back one more week because they were traveling. So we shot it on a Thursday around noon. So I had everything set up, sent them an email. I wasn't even nervous. I was just really anxious to see, like, is this really going to happen? So I'm sitting there, 12 o'clock hit, boom. Mr. Foster pop up. He say, Carlos, how you doing? So he already knew my name. So that already made me feel like, man, he already knew who I was. Like, he really already embracing me. So I appreciated that.
Yep.
So once he popped on the screen, man, I was ready to roll, man. We talked for over an hour. And he just answered everything. I did my research. I read his entire book.
Oh, yeah.
I did everything to prepare for that, man. Because I don't want nobody to feel like I didn't take my time to do the homework.
Yeah.
So that's another reason I don't really crank out a lot of interviews. Like, some people post interviews, like 3-4 interviews a week. I don't do that because, like, for me, man, just having my hands on everything right now, like, I try to make sure I have my research done and everything, and just handle all the stuff.
That's a professionalist, man.
Yeah.
Come on, that's what it is. But that's dope. That's hard.
Yeah, it was super dope.
Reebok, I know you got.
And I was just like, man, and sometimes when you in the moment, you don't really understand, like, what you're doing. So for me, I was just like, man, it took me a few days, and then people tell me, you interviewed the co-founder of Reebok. And I said, I was like, that ain't normal, man. Like, that's one of the most iconic shoes. And I just really had a conversation with
we came up off them black and whites, man. You know that.
So that was super dope, man. I was like, to me, it's still like, and for me, man, because I'm just so locked in on doing the interviews, man. I'm knocking them out. And then I'm just like, man, okay, what's next? Sometimes for me, that's what I need to tell myself. It's just like,
you definitely need to exhale and take the time in to see what you did. And pat, no funny nothing, bro. Pat yourself on the back. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, if you don't give yourself that, nobody else gonna do that.
Exactly, man. Because I was like, that's huge, man. So sometimes, like, I really haven't even had, because so much been going on, I haven't had a chance to, actually go back and sit down and watch that interview.
That's
And I
right.
said I want to, man. I am gonna do it, but it's
Got
just like,
to, man.
it's just so much going on. But yeah, that was crazy though.
That's
just
big.
how the whole thing,
That's
man.
big,
So and it's
bro.
like that's why I say, man, I'm from a small town, Jonesville, South Carolina, man. If I can do it, I ain't no better than nobody else. I wasn't the most athletic, none of that stuff.
None of it.
But I
That's it.
applied myself
That's
and
it. Found my niche, applied myself, bro.
Yeah.
That be the other thing. Like, find your niche first. Don't
Yeah.
want to do that man niche. You're not 6'6" with a 40-inch vertical, bro. Stop. Putting
Everybody
yourself-
can't be LeBron and Michael
stop,
Jordan.
Stop putting yourself in that man's shoes. Find out what it is
Yeah.
that you do well. You know what I mean? I came off of people seeing mentoring in me. Like, every time I turn around, like, my teachers put me in peer mediation programs to run groups. And being hired at South Carolina State, I'm trying to go to class, do my work, and get out of here because I ain't social. Making me be a residence educator. Like, just RA type stuff, residence assistant. So it's just like, when folks see that thing in you and you get that one boost in it, and it's what you do. I'm going to talk all day and I'm going to motivate. That's what I really got in this thing for. You know what I mean? I want to inspire people to do something with themselves.
And it's dope that somebody pulled that out of you, though, man.
Yeah, and because I'm, you don't know, but like back then, I'm shut down, Courtney. Like, if it ain't involving me personally, I had a motto when I left my home. It's like, man, concern myself with myself and everything else to take care of itself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I told myself that every day just so I know the path that I'm on. But them side quests, man, they make your life a little bit more special with relationships you build, opportunities you get, and networking. Like, I didn't even know I was networking until, you know what I mean? I like, dang, I know a decent amount of people. I got about 100 orders. You know what I mean? Folks want to rock and wear my stuff and support me.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The people going to get behind you, man.
Yeah, and that's the one. That's like, okay, this is what you're supposed to be doing, man.
How do you feel you've grown overall since becoming an entrepreneur?
I really feel like it gave me another, aspect to look at things, like not only from a consumer side or just from a personal relation side, like, trying to get what it is you want. Because I was a junkie from buying a bunch of shoes and stuff off eBay and emailing people when I ain't get my stuff and not being considerate when things happen. Or, people got to make store runs and, people can't be behind the computer every day and not be in response. So I definitely, took in a lot of that stuff to, pretty much be like, man, these are real people. I'm a real person now, so I got a little more humility behind me with that because, again, I'm definitely a humble dude and I'm definitely personable and I want people to be comfortable. I want to be approachable. I want to be tolerable. You know what I mean? But knowing that I'm a work in progress. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely took from it like, man, people expecting me to crank out these orders and do this stuff and it ain't but 24 hours in a day and I got to work and I got kids and I got, other things I got to take care of. Reaching out to somebody ahead of time to let them know what's going on, to keep them informed, of their service and their product is, could take you a few minutes before you go out and do what you need to do, just keeping people abreast.
Absolutely.
So communicating, man, I learned that I grew in communication, if I had to say something.
What advice would you have for people? And I like to ask this because you're still going through the process. I'm still going through the process. I think a lot of times some people don't want to hear from it unless you're like all the way at the top and like you're successful. But even though you're going through the process, we all learn stuff where we are right now. What advice would you have for people, going and chasing their dream?
Stay true, bro, and you fulfill every dream. Stay fed. That's gonna be it. Like you can't, you cannot, bro, expect full-time success over temporary efforts.
Absolutely.
Like you can't. It's impossible.
Yeah, man, I tell people, man, you gotta learn to something that I learned. Just believe in yourself. I'm gonna send you this interview that I did a few years ago. People hear me talk about it all the time. They probably, man, you talk about Ben all the time, but it's a guy named Ben Hall.
Yeah.
I did an interview with him, and the interview changed my life, man. He's probably one of the. It's honestly that's like the blueprint to this podcast, man, because I didn't really know which direction I was going in with it, man, but he played high school football at Burns. He went to play at Clemson after that. Then he went to play a little bit of pro ball, came back home, worked a 9 to 5, and then he quit his job and started baking cakes, everything, baking all kind of desserts. But, man, I remember when I called him up, And he was just like trying to set up the interview and everything. And my guy Dominique was telling me about him. And then Ben started asking me questions about like, what you want to do? Like, what are your goals? What do you have? Like, that's the first time really somebody actually kind of like challenged me and asked me like personally like what I want to do, because my mindset was just do the regular thing like high school, college, get a job, retire, like that. But when he hit me with that, it was like, man, this dude already challenged me. So we sat down and had a conversation for like an hour and a half. And at the time, I enjoyed the conversation. It was a great conversation, but the older I get and the more now that I'm on my journey, I'm doing more and more interviews, I appreciate it a lot more now, because it's like so many things that he talked about in that interview was just tenfold. Everything is just happening, man. He's just talking about just believing in yourself and having a vision, man. And you just always keep one foot in front of the other and just keep on going. And like he said, when we shot the interview, he was baking out of his house. And about 5 or 6 months later, he ended up with a storefront.
Wow.
And he used to say, man, I'm one man, one stove. He went from one stove at his house to having a whole storefront, man. But it was just about believing in yourself and just having faith, man. Like,
that's the first
he was like, he didn't even see everything. He didn't know everything that was going to happen.
You're not going to see it, man. It's going to unfold right in front of you.
Yeah.
And if you want to keep going, you're going to go with it.
You got to, man.
And
I mean, it's scary, but it's like, dang, man.
Yeah, but it ain't for the weak, man.
Yeah,
I definitely got the motto, man, pressure. What I say, man? It's power doesn't speak and pressure only matters to the weak. I actually got that engraved in one of my chains out there I just got. So that's another clause that just pushed me towards success. You know what I mean? And having statues of power, like you have no time to sit back with the politics and bicker and battle about what's what. Keep moving towards your purpose.
Most
you know what I mean? Pressure only matters to the weak, because adversity gonna come.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
All the time.
Every day gonna be adversity, man.
It's gonna be rough, man.
That's it. And so once you identify your adversity, I feel like you can move towards it.
Yes.
Because now you know what's your opposition. A lot of people move out here blindly and not know their opposition. You know what I mean? But once you can target down what's your opposition, I feel like you can move toward your purpose. For sure.
My final 2 questions. What would you say is like your vision for Stay Fed going forward?
Big, bro. Like I call myself Big Bowl now, so it's like, man, I need to have enough for everybody to come in here and do what they want to do with it. You know what I mean? Or at least have that platform. Yes. So I need this thing to be as big as it's going to get. And again, I want to see the one that's going to come and take my place. You know what I mean? And I'm ready to, as soon as he's ready, I'm ready to pass the torch. I mean, I'm ready to get into the advisor role, because naturally that's what I'm good at. I'm good at guiding. I have told people, like, and probably don't even remember some advice I gave people, and they come back to me and tell me thank you. You know what I'm saying? On some real deal. And I'm like, for what? And like, you said such and such, and it really meant a lot to me at that point. You know what I mean? Even down to my dude that hit me up a while ago, last week, just congratulating me on everything I'm doing. And I hit him, he hit me with like, I'm still doing the same thing. And I'm like, bro, there's nothing wrong with that, long as it's what you want. And when it stops being what you want, start to make provision for what you do want. And just like small stuff like that I give folks, and they move on it because they can feel that. And it be right on time in the situation. So, man, I want this thing to be big, a big enough platform. We got a podcast coming out too, man. Old brothers, me and Banks, man. We're going to sit down and talk. And I got so much in my head I want to get out, even down to my culture, man, like the Dope Boy Bloodline. Basically, it's going to be a series of short films talking about, from, my standpoint. I'm inspired by drug dealers, and, but didn't want to go to jail. So finding another route, you know what I mean? But to get their stories, my OGs in front of me, and like, they had no other choices and resources, give them their platform, man, because if it wasn't for them, it wouldn't be for me.
Right.
You know what I mean? Just from seeing that, like, you know what I mean?
Do it all, man. I'm telling you, do it all, yeah.
So I'm really inspired to do all that, like sit down with them, give them this podcast, everything that's not going to incriminate you. You know what I mean? So we definitely going to let you sit there and speak your piece if you did, enough time to make sure that, you speak about your life you live.
That'll be dope, too.
Yeah,
man, I got 2 more questions. I meant to ask you, when you said something about passing the torch earlier, not too long ago, it reminded me of something you said when we was talking about, artists supporting each other here, and you made a good point about it, like not having that face of South Carolina. Who would you say might be the face right now? Like, do you think we have that person at all? Because I mean, you know, Big Zach is. I mean, not Big Zach. Black Zach.
I heard of him.
Black Zach. Was it Rennie? I think Rennie. Ain't she from South Carolina? I think she signed with QC.
Rennie for Columbia.
Yeah. Like, do you feel like we had that face, or we still working towards it?
Man, me personally.
I mean, we don't. I don't think we have anybody like as big as like the
big,
baby
I mean,
out of
but
Charlotte.
just like if you come to South Carolina, and it's the person to go see, right?
Yeah.
Man, and like it's just. I don't really think we got that face yet.
Yeah.
It's just a few artists who still pushing towards that, and like, I hate.
It's a guy up our way that signed with he signed with Dirt, Little Mexico.
I heard of him too.
Yeah.
My boy put me on him too.
Yeah,
it's like everybody at that bubble stage. The only person I would give it to, man, would be Tootsie. Cause he was.
So he's from here.
He was in Spartanburg, I think.
Oh, for real? Okay, okay.
No. It was Raleigh. So no, it's not South Carolina. So he was in Raleigh. He came from North Carolina and went down to Raleigh, and then he's buzzing out there in Charlotte. But he's for anybody that has something to do with South Carolina. I mean, with North Carolina at that point. But nah, man, I can't give it to nobody. Nobody's solidified. They don't. Yeah. They don't bring them folks
out. The only one that came, the top one that came to my head was really Black Zach. At this point right now.
Like I said, I ain't heard much of Black Zach.
I think he signed with
Southgate.
South Coast Music Group, something like
Music Group, something like that. Yeah.
That's who the baby signed to as well, yeah.
And it's hard because you want to name somebody on that baby stature. You know what I mean?
That's a big.
But that's when you that face.
When you own.
That's
like,
you own. When you own.
Yeah.
But I don't really know nobody. I couldn't name them right now in South Carolina who just that face or who grinding up to the point to be that. You know what I mean? Besides what we doing. Like, I really feel like what we doing is something special.
It's going to make a difference.
Low key, I feel like I'm Birdman sitting on Lil Wayne. Like, I'm telling you, that boy Lalo cold, man.
Yeah.
I'm going to play some more of his stuff. Like, he hard.
Definitely,
but it's like, you know, we just got to get him to, we get him in front of the masses, the product going to be what it is.
Yeah. My final question, and we'll get ready to wrap it up after this. I ask everybody when they come on, because we're on our self-investment tour for the podcast, what does self-investment mean to you?
What the self-investing means to me, man. Put your money where your mouth is. That's all it means to me. Like, you know what I mean? If you say you about something and this is what you're gonna do, you don't have to preach it. Show them folk. Like, I really believe in presenting myself, and I'm gonna be what it is. Like, you know, you might hear about me, you hear about what he do and all that stuff, but I feel like when I pull up, that's just what it's supposed to look like. You know what I mean? And that shows when you invest in yourself. You know what I mean? From, you know, the way you step out, you carry yourself. You know, they mess with me because I be having it on. You know what I mean? When I pull up in other cities, they want to know who driving that. You know what I mean? Why is he parking here? Why is he skipping the line? Like, you're gonna look like what you is. Like, you know, I gotta pop it a little bit. Like, for sure. Like, that's what it mean. Like, your money where your mouth is. I ain't never gotta open up and say what I did or what I'm doing because I'm gonna look like it. If I'm on business, I'm gonna look like I'm on business. If I'm out here just shooting and shaking the job, and I'm gonna be looking like that.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? It's a difference. And so that's just the authenticity. Like, folks buy into authenticity. You can't fake that.
Most definitely. And Courtney, I appreciate you, man. Like I said, it was good to catch up with you again. Like I said, when we chopped it up at CIAA, I made sure you had your work. I told you I'm going to get up with y'all, man. So I was like, I'm going to keep my word. And even when you text me yesterday, asking me was I still coming, I said, man, I gave you my word. I said, I'm going to be there, man.
Hey, man, you standing on it. I appreciate you too, man. And good luck and good love, man, always.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah. But before we get out of here, man, tell everybody how to find you. Also, shout out your music. We got so much into your story. We got away from talk about your EP Flex God. And like I was telling you, Stay Fed about Volume 2 was dope. Well, go ahead and talk about some of you.
So, yeah, I just dropped the EP Flex God, man. It's definitely dope. You can get it on all music platforms, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you do it at. It's a dope EP, man. Just take you through the journey, man, of just, you know, being about what you is and what you say you're about. Like, you know what I mean? I encourage y'all to listen to the plug. Like, that intro is tough. Like, it's gonna put you in that. It's gonna put you in that vibe. You know, we building these beats ourselves, coming out our head on the wax for you. So, you can find me at, you know, Mr. 2653. That's on Instagram. Courtney J. Green on Facebook. You can find me at Stay Fed Productions also on Instagram. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. And I appreciate you again, man. This won't be the last time we get up, man.
Oh, for sure not,
man. I enjoyed it,
I got to come to the upstate.
Come on up there, man. Like, we don't have a, I mean, it's growing. Like, well, Spartanburg, Greenville area, it's a lot more going on up there than where I'm from. Like, my town is small. Like, We ain't got no clubs or none of that stuff like that.
Cool.
But yeah, the upstate area, man, is growing a whole lot, man. It's dope. We'll definitely come up there, man. You'll have a good time.
Man, whatever, we'll have a good time. Me, you, and Google, we'll find something to do.
Oh yeah, most definitely. So hopefully everybody enjoyed this episode. Till next time, keep chasing your dreams. This is the Cross the Line Podcast, Self-Investment Tour. Thank you for listening.
Stay fed. Flex. What's up, man? This is Courtney Green, man, Mr. 2653, founder of Stay Fed Production. And you just tuned in to Cross the Line Podcast. Flex.